All right. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope your weather's better than mine. I got snowed on all day yesterday. It was insane. A nice early May snowstorm here in Utah. Good morning. Welcome to the Market Watch Group Weekly Opening Bell. I'm Scott. Let's get started. Disclaimers, as always, be careful. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. We don't give guidance. We don't give recommendations. Yada, yada. Today's agenda, we'll look at the opening futures. The news we have this week. We'll take a look at the economic calendar. We'll review our market posture just as we are now translating it into this week's market, right? So it's like, okay, we looked at the market conditions. We said what's changed, what's stabilized, it's better, what's worse. Add it all up. Where does it put us? And then we say, now what? Now, how does that impact how I trade? We'll talk about mindset for open trades. We'll look at the opening range, what the trade implications are, any potentials that we're thinking about, and then we'll look at this week's trading plan section of the week. We're talking about trading rules. We're talking about fleshing out our systems, making sure that the rules we have for entry, exit, management, etc. make sense. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start here. If you weren't there, quick review of our posture. Unchanged, you'll notice in the top half. Long-term, short-term, and volume all stayed the same. Those are sitting at a net combined total of 1.75. What happened here? Major market stayed the same. Sector rotation dropped. And then we got this unexpected half a point bump out of the VIX. So the VIX is, and let's go take a look at that. Here's the futures. You can see, as of right now, you can see, it's trying to climb out of it. It's trying to climb up out of this. What we're saying is, we've seen this before at a similar time. It tried back here. We're trying to climb out of it. We're doing it. And you can see it didn't get much higher. And then it tried again, and here's where things really fell apart. So over here, just because now we do pay attention to the 50, but the 50 is not like some blind, it's above the 50, therefore we're bullish. It's above the 50, but are we bullish? I mean, the market posture still says mildly bullish, right? The momentum has said that it's deteriorated enough that we're now concerned about a potential for a correction. And remember that our corrective territory is, I think it was back down around here somewhere. Somewhere down in this area. So, yeah, you can see this thing did something similar and corrected. That's what we're keeping an eye out for right now. But it does look like we're set for a bullish open. Futures are up 0.43. Let's go before I go, let me take a quick peek at the VIX. That's what we came here for. Yeah, look at that VIX. Just unexpectedly, now again, this never happened. Just discount this top chunk. But it did drop from this high of around 19 all the way back down to this prior low right here. Then it had a slight uptick, and then we went to a lower low. So I called that a same low, but I said that's a lower high because we went up and then back down, and we went to a lower low because we've now taken out these lows. So I gave it a half a point for that. But overall, despite, and what's interesting is that we're set to open higher by almost 0.5%. And yet the VIX is actually up 1.5%. It's inside of this day here. Yes, in fact, this day here, we were like, wow, that was surprisingly low, to the point that I put another calendar spread on. Now, I took my calendar spread off, and the concern was if we opened higher, which we are. However, I actually think, I'm going to go back and look at it. I actually think if you held it, did anybody hold theirs? Out of curiosity? Wait, pink screen? What's a pink screen? I have a pink screen? Sorry, I just pulled my chat up. Okay, everyone else sees just normal old screen? I haven't done anything differently, so if there's a pink screen, I did not do it intentionally. Okay, let's go look into the account statement. And what was the original trade? 424. And then we closed there. Okay, so let's analyze this. And then we're going to get rid of this and this. Nope, I want that one back. Sorry. I went too far. Create. Let's analyze that trade. Then we'll uncheck this one. Okay. Now, I did put a new one on because of that low volatility. Which is now on, but we closed the old one. And I'm curious. Let's see. Where are we set to open today? Oh, that is pink. Yeah, that's not on my end. And that would drive me insane. You might want to log out and in and check your settings on that. That's madness. Yeah. That's strange. If I did that, I would want to punch myself in the face. Okay. What are we looking at here? This needs to be unlocked. Yeah, so you can see we're out here at 513. Now the concern was if it had a big jump, and it got out here and you're really starting to give it back. But I wonder if you should log out of, you logged out of Discord and logged back in. Anyway, good luck with that. You might want to go to Google and say, why is my Discord stage pink or something like that on the side. I think I think if you did hold on, that seems about right. 530? 191 to 135. Oh, yeah, that's actually more. I think I would have been better off to hold on. But the risk is if it would have, gapped up. Anyways, trade worked out well. Next trade is on. And if you did the trade, it looks like this. So this one is here now. So now we're right in the middle again. And we wait. Now if it goes all the way up here, all of a sudden to 523, You're thinking, oh man, this thing's going underwater. Yeah, you're underwater $100. You've got a bunch of built up back here. And then what? And then we put another calendar spread on. And then we let it sit. If it drops down here, volatility's rising, I'm going to be much better suited to wait, see, and then possibly put a butterfly with it. And so either way it goes, I can make an adjustment. If it just sits in the middle, what do? We do exactly what we did last time on the trade that sat right in the middle. And we make as much as we can on it, but we don't really, try to push it too much. That's the concept behind the calendar spreads and butterflies in a 7 to 10 day fashion. That's one thing I've always had a hard time with delta neutral and time decay strategies is waiting. We're traders. It's hard to wait sometimes, right? But Bob does it even more so. Bob does 1 day butterflies. Just get that time decay, right? How do I analyze a trade I'm in? Well, this one's live. So I look at this and the analysis is easy. Your SPY, we'll see what it looks like when it opens. I would expect it not to be because it's right at the money, really. I mean, they're very close. And we got a few days of time. So same kind of a thing. I'm not worried about this trade until probably around 523, 524. 523, 524. Now, if you think about 523, 524, let's get to the SPY. 524 is the high. It would have to get up here before I'm even blinking at it. And even then, I'd be like, I don't know. So, yeah. This trade is just in the watch and wait mode. We're good up to 523, 524. On the other side, we're good to let's see. Well, it looks like it shrunk a little. Maybe I'd say 522 and 504, but we have a little more room than that. So there you go. Okay. All right, markets opened up 0.44. Real quick peek through the news here. There we are. Buffett's warning on AI. There's no warning on AI. AI is a miracle. IRS is looking to double the audit rate on wealthy Americans. Okay, nothing really news, though, right? There's no real news. As rally looks to continue. Let's go look at the economic calendar. That's light this week as well. We have very minimal news coming out this week. Just a couple of minor Fed speaks later today. Tomorrow, same. The only real, we have wholesale inventories. No one watches that too much. Minor Fed speak, jobless claims, a little consumer sentiment. This week could be interesting. And so like right now, we said it could continue up. Where would we look for trades? Financials for me is the spot. We'll go through the watch list here in just a second. Let's just jump to it. We've seen the posture. We know what's going on, right? We know the Fed. Things are really kicked down out to September at the earliest. And now we just sort of watch the summer, right? And that's why the doldrums come, is because we're kind of like, okay, now what? There's not going to be a lot of like back and forth. Is it? Isn't it? We're kind of in a lull, just sort of watching things move and waiting for inflationary data to see if the Fed's going to get what it needs. Let's go through the watch list. We added a couple of industrials to it, but I didn't get to the financials. Okay, so let's just, 2 minutes in, what's the momentum? We gapped up. Now, it's only 2 minutes in. We don't judge that much, but as we watch the opening range is certainly easing up, not moving forward. Okay. Let's start at Apple. Oh, look at Apple. We're watching to see how does the dust settle. And you might think, wait, dust settle, it would gapped up. It's still dusty though, right? You still don't just jump in. We still wait to see how does price absorb being in this new area. It just got introduced to a new environment. You got to let it acclimate. Does it retreat? Well, that's what it initially did. And now it's a little bit up, but it's a long day. We'll see what happens. This is where I think not AIG. AIG looks good coming out of its earnings still. It's at new highs. Waiting for a pullback. AMD. Okay, so if you're starting to think about the downside, stocks like this one that just made a new low, and I don't mean like obviously from back here, but I'm saying in this current consolidation, now it's pushing up a little bit. If it doesn't get to the 50, if it makes a lower high, does this thing want to drop down here to 133 or even down here to 122? I think that there's some inflated prices in chips and tech. If we're going to get a 10% market correction, there's a good chance that these are the ones that lead the way. So I'm watching for that. As I've said, I'm not bearish, but I've certainly opened the door to speculative bearish trades the next time I think the market's at a resistance level. Right? The next time the market, if we get 2-3 days of up and then it starts to die on the vine a little bit and we think it may be rolling over, yeah. At that point, my thought process is let's think about a trade or two to the downside. It won't be a hedge. My bullish trades will be closed out quickly because my market posture implications, which we worked on last week, inform me, guide me to take profits sooner, to tighten stops sooner, because this market's lost momentum. That's it. Amazon. Amazon actually looks pretty good. I feel like it V'd out of whatever that little bad news dip below the 50 was. That was a weird day, right? Just sort of like jumped down, ran down here. Can you imagine how many stops possibly got picked off right there? And then ran back up. And then now it's back at 180. Imagine if you got picked off at like 167.5 and you're just like, seriously. But it's back up here at the old high. For me, that's a nice little mini cup and handle. So if it pulls back and finds support above the 50, we've seen a little bit of resurgence in consumer discretionaries, and I actually think that Amazon is partially the reason why. AXP. Okay. So AXP, you can see your stochastics is turning. We're up. We haven't taken out these highs. This looks reasonable. Right? Now, I started feeling like I was feeling constrained by only putting the morning trade alerts out. And that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm putting an intraday trade alert out because I can. So I did on Friday. There's a chance something like this could be an end of day trade alert where we're like, hey, if you're looking to put a bullish trade on, if you have room for it, it would be something like, now again, it's why I say an end of day because who knows what today ends up looking like. AXP looks bullish overall, though, and there's others that I would consider too. Boeing still below the 50. Bank of America looks okay. Citigroup looks okay. Caterpillar a little underwater. Chipotle looks still fairly bullish. CNM is new. Looks pretty good. Just waiting for some kind of a signal. Not to mention I'm wanting to just watch that one a little bit more. Capital One. So I like Capital One and AXP. You'll notice that these are both credit cards. Both credit cards. This one is a little iffy. It looks like so far AXP does look the strongest. We'll just kind of set that aside and see. Maybe it becomes a trade today. Maybe tomorrow morning. Maybe not at all. Who knows? Oil, a little bit of a recovery, but I love it back under the 50-day. Magnificent. Costco. So Costco, for me, has broken out and is now viable on the next pullback. So Costco went through kind of a lull, and then it was just in this sideways action, and now buyers have convinced us that they've done enough. Great. I love having another bullish potential in there. CRBG, Corebridge Financial. Okay, this is a new financial stock that we got our hands on recently. Got up to the old high after some good earnings. Now what? Same as Amazon. If it pulls back, makes a higher low above the 50, I think it's ready to try to make another run, and that's what I would be looking for. Delta, new high, but there's no trade here for us yet. We definitely need a consolidation before we're going to come into that. The Dow, okay. So the Dow's up about 0.44. Bitcoin has recovered 3 days in a row. This is where people get sucked in, but it's still under this consolidation line. For me, I would need it to get all the way to 60. Then it's a V. Right now, it's a lower high. If it gets to 60, it's a V. Now, does that mean when it makes a V, then you're bullish? Nope. Then when it makes a higher low, which would be maybe somewhere over here, then you have a shoulder, head, shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. Hip, hip, hooray. Okay. GE Aerospace. I like it. It's at resistance. I need a pullback. Gold, you can see is moving up a little bit today. Google, it's trying, but it's stalled a little. IWM, sitting. Well, it's up 1%, actually. It's up 1%. We'll see. Meta up 1%, trying to move a little bit. Microsoft trying. That's the problem, is all of this feels just like, oh, it's trying. You're like, yeah, but is it just going to, require one more consolidation down before things are done? Netflix looks like it's starting to find some resistance under the 50. Nvidia's up marginally. I would expect volumes low today. Picard down. Qs up marginally. RTX we put on, but it's been kind of in a basing pattern here. It's still above the 50, but it does that sometimes. You can see it'll base. We'll see if this stays or not. Sometimes we put things on the watch list just to sort of try it on. See how it feels. See how it looks in the mirror. SPY up 0.5%. Okay, so we'll see what today brings us. If you're in something bullish, you're probably like, okay, I did all right with that. Looking at something bullish, the only thing I see, if few things that are setting up newly, right? Costco, Amazon, what else was in there? Netflix? There was a few. Costco, Amazon, GE Aerospace. But the only things that look they were setting up now would be, I would say, financials. It's just, do you think that this market's going to keep advancing? The VIX still up, even though the market's up 0.5%. We're up a little bit on the VIX, so the VIX seems to be kind of finding a low. VRT, this is new. Financial, nice strong trend. Wells Fargo, new. And, oh yeah, we've got, so you can see, the only things that look like they're giving bullish signals are, in fact, financials. Waste Management looks like it could be giving a signal. The problem is the trend is so sideways. Like, there's just not much room. If it's only going to get to here, you don't have a lot of meat on the bones. And it's like, is that something that you want to trade? People say, well, then if it's going sideways, couldn't you do like a butterfly? Well, you could, but like I said, I tend to do my butterflies and my delta neutral trades on ETFs. That are just more naturally and inherently neutral. Walmart looks neutral, looks sideways. Basic materials, still kind of sideways. They've eased a little bit, which is good, but they're just sort of hovering now around the 50-day. Let's see, communication services, trying to get a little bit more. Trying to regain. So you've got Google really trying to move things in that regard. Energy. So it's bouncing off the 50 here, but oil is really what I'm paying more attention to. So let's pause for a second and move to the CLs. This is the light sweet crude futures. Those are well below the 50. So I actually feel pretty good about that. Okay, let's see. Financials, like we said, trying to bounce. Industrials. Holding on, right? The concerns for me are technology is sputtering, barely gasping for air. Staples looks okay. Utilities looks quite defensive still. That's a concern. Healthcare is just sort of meandering. Yeah, I mean, we just really look... yeah. I mean, we look a little bit like it's trying to find its way. And May and June are not historically months where we see that. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns. What trades are you in? How are your trades doing? Etc. So let me know about that. I'd like to hear how you guys are doing and what you're trading. Are you in a lot of bullish trades still? Not as many as you'd like? What does that look like? Okay, now let's talk about this week's trading plan. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow I'm going to put a little bit of time into this to finish this so that tomorrow night we can review this and then I'll post it. Where is it? There it is. Apple, Bank of America. Okay. A few and have a few bears. Got it. Some balance. Love it. Love it. I think Steven just got tired of the pink screen and left. I don't know why it would do that. It's very crazy. I'm going to look it up and see if I can find out why a screen would go pink like that. What are we working on this week? We are working on trading rules. No, trading systems, trading rules. Every system that you have, one full set of rules per system. Because remember, I can't. I thought I had it ready to go, but I don't. Let me get this. Let me get the option log. Steven, are you back? Did you get rid of the pink screen? Damn that pink screen. Okay, remember that when you come into your trade log and you come here, you're going to put your symbol in and then you're going to put your system. What is the system or service used? The source of the trade. Is this a bounce trade? Is this a breakout trade? Is this Trader Johnny's super picks? That sounds like a great newsletter, right? I should make that newsletter. Trader Johnny. Super awesome picks of the week. Because then we can isolate the system to say, hey, is this system carrying its weight? Is it a profitable system? If we have 3 different products, don't you want to know that 2 of your products make great money and 1 of them is losing money? So that you can stop, either fix or stop. That's it. So if you have 2 systems and 2 newsletters, you need to be able to see all of it together, and then you need to be able to go in and do each one individually so that you can say, oh, look, these 3 are my most profitable, and this one just always is breaking even. Well, you know how the joke goes. Man goes to the doctor and says, Doc, it hurts when I do this. And the doctor says, well, stop doing that. That's what we're looking for. Is there something we're doing that's like, hey, this is actually distracting us from our more profitable trading? So the only way for us to see that is through this spreadsheet. The only way for the spreadsheet to enable us to see that is if we are coding the system. The only way we can code the system is if we have a system name and then subsequently a set of rules. Now, if you have a newsletter or an advisory, you might get 7. How many of these are there? 8. You might get 6 or 7 out of 8. You might get 5.5. Right? They tell you what to buy. They tell you what. Well, usually they're using daily charts, but they'll tell you otherwise. They're not going to tell you how much to buy or sell. That's always going to be on you. They should give you the entry. May or may not give you a stop. May or may not give you an exit. Are unlikely to give you, some management or tactics. So, you're kind of relying on them for this up here, which means you're still going to have to do a good amount of work. Even if someone does the system, there's rarely when they're giving you everything. So going through these rules enables you to see what are the deficiencies. What are they not giving me? When we know what they're not giving us, we know what we need to be ready to fill in. Okay, perfect. Ideally you have at least a couple, maybe one of your own and at least one, advisory or something that you get trades from. Who knows? That's what we're working on this week is making sure that you have one of, no, I don't want to do that. Let me undo that. We want one of those for every system that we have. Let's get that in place this week, and then your record keeping and your analytics become stronger. Okay. You found the appearance settings, tried to make changes, but not for the pink screen. So the pink screen is still there. It's still pink. That is terrible. All right, I'm going to see what I can find. Did everybody get, so I wanted to test the announcement feature again. Did everybody get the announcement yesterday about the link being posted? It should have been like a broadcast. I don't know. I just want to make sure that things are showing up the way they're supposed to be. All right. Okay, good. Got the link. Well, listen, tonight, you watched it too, have a few questions. Awesome. Well, you can ask them tonight. Tonight we are going to have our cocktail hour. Come have a chat. Just hang out, talk about the market, talk about life. Just give us a chance to interact without always having to be market oriented. So that will be tonight at 8:30 p.m. Standard Time, I believe. Is that right? What time do we do that? Now I'm forgetting. 6:30. Yeah, 8:30. 8:30 it is. And then we will go from there. So, yeah, I hope you can join me for that. If not, join us tomorrow for Trading Plan Part 2. That should be a lot of fun. And great. Let's keep on keeping on. I think we're in a good place. I think we have a good read on the market. And I'll see you guys later tonight. As always, happy trading.